Well, hi. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. I had an opportunity to shoot some video at the new park building, and we are going to be bringing that to you. The new park building, well, it's not new. It's actually old. It's been around for a while. However, there is a 2-year renovation that has been going on in this true downtown Council Bluffs landmark, and it is open once again. The park building has been fully refreshed, new finishes, updated HVAC, modern amenities, all while keeping that historic charm that makes this building special. And office spaces are now available. Kyle Randy and I have some already. We've got the lease signed and we are moving in very soon, and there is more available to you. So this is all the way down to a single office space for just $400 a month, or possibly a full floor suite at $15 per square foot. And tenants are going to enjoy a shared conference space on the third floor. I've been in it. It's really cool. So I put a link in the description through Heartland Properties. Mark Hanwright's going to be your contact there, and you can set up an appointment, go and take a look for yourself and see if this is the right fit for you. The park building is open and ready for business. Also, want to say thank you to one of our new sponsors, the Acres Event Venue in Council Bluffs, and they have a special event coming up. It is on November 29th only. You can book your 2026 or 2027 event at the Acres, and they've got some seriously amazing deals. 50% off small events, perfect for graduation parties, bridal showers, baby showers, anniversaries, or if you're planning a wedding, how about locking in a 3-day wedding event at 20% off? So typically, if you're over 3 days, it would be at about $8,500, knocking it down to $6,800. What could you do with that extra money? And if you've already booked your wedding, you can even add an extra day or two at the same 20% discount. So yes, this is real. All you have to do is sign your contract on November 29th to make it official. If you'd like a head start, email the Acres or call 720-822-6713 and check your dates and get prepped so you can lock it in ASAP. Don't miss out. This is a one-day deal, November 29th at the Acres. And if you are looking for a job, this might be right up your alley. If you like driving and getting paid for it, a first student bus driver. You're going to work short hours, earn a competitive wage, and make a difference in the lives of children, and that pay starts with a sign-on bonus. If you're coming in fully licensed already, there's a sign-on bonus of $4,000. Now, if you don't have your CDL yet, you're going to get a sign-on bonus of $3,000 once that CDL is obtained, plus every driver gets on-the-job training. So don't wait. Apply today at workatfirst.com. Again, that website, workatfirst.com. And on today's show, we are going to bring in our good friends, Jessa Erickson and Jason Erickson from ThinkSpace IT. We are going to be talking about year-end budgets and how that applies to your tech that is going on in the building. And they actually brought up some really good points in this interview that I wasn't aware of, such as you need to be careful with some of this, that you just can't throw it in the trash. It needs to be handled correctly. So we're going to cover all of that in today's interview with ThinkSpace IT, Jessa and Jason Erickson. Morning Coffee brought to you by Keith Jones, your Edward Jones financial advisor in Council Bluffs. Learn how he can help you reach your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com for more. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Back with us this morning, it's our good friends in Walnut, Iowa, the owners and operators of ThinkSpace IT. Thank you so much for your time. Again, great to see you. Jason's been a couple of episodes since we've had you on. Good to see you back and operational in the operation fashion.
Well, that's the problem. I was too operational in the operational fashion, which is why I haven't been on. So I get it.
But
I probably missed all the fun stuff. Now we're going to talk money, and I'd rather probably talk what we were talking about before.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about you before. That was
a short conversation.
I thought that it would be, but no, we went like 45 minutes.
Big and deep. I have to go watch those. Maybe it'll be a good therapy session for me.
That'll work too. And what are you guys working on up there right now? I'm assuming that you're getting towards the end of the year. Is it year-end stuff? Is that what's happening right now?
A little bit. We're almost in between projects. We have very nearly wrapped up with the Lakin Foundation's Child Development Center of East Mills. So, quick shout out to them. They are having an open house this Saturday for their new building, which is super exciting. They've been in there, what, a few weeks or so now, and it's fun. If you don't follow them on Facebook, it's just so exciting to see the kids that are in there and having a good time and learning. Um, and we have worked pretty closely with their executive director. She's a lovely, lovely lady. So I'm excited for Saturday. But as that comes to a close, now it's time to clean house a little bit before our
Okay.
next major project.
So is that a long cleaning house project? Is it a short cleaning house project? What?
That remains to be seen. No, we've been accumulating some e-waste, and so we need to get that on out of here and over to our good friend Scott over in Logan.
All right,
Uh,
I gotta stop you because I don't have a clue what you're talking about. E-waste.
yes.
What is this?
All your old electronics garbage. That's what she's talking about. So instead of throwing it in the dumpster, which is a bad thing to do because
Right.
lithium and all that kind of fun stuff, you need to take it to a recycler or an e-waste specialist,
Okay.
and they will take the parts, stuff apart, sort it, and recycle the majority of it. So it's good for everybody. And e-waste is, I mean, that's some of the most noxious stuff in the world to make these motherboards, batteries, and that kind of deal. Don't need that in our landfills. I mean, that's a good way to start a fire in a landfill. So,
And not only that, but for those people who are getting rid of old phones, old computers, you really need to make sure that you're disposing of your stuff properly so that nobody can get at your data. And that is something that when we take the stuff to Scott, either he or us, we can properly destroy the hard drives so that nobody can grab your data.
So what you're saying then is there is an actual way of disposing of things besides just putting them in the drawer that's at the top of my coffee
yeah,
table.
yes.
You can do that too, but eventually that drawer's going to fill up.
There's a collection of cell phones in there. I'm just,
You need to get rid of those.
one of
Yeah.
them goes back. I don't remember what kind it was, but the cell phone was roughly this size. So and maybe even a little bit smaller than that, and had no keyboard on it at all, and it was tiny. I had another one that was, it would flip up this way. The lid would flip straight up, and that would expose a keyboard. I still have that one. I don't know why.
You're dating yourself.
Well, yeah.
So you have basically a Nokia, a Motorola, and it sounds like maybe a Crackberry is what you ended up with the keyboard that slid out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I hate to say it, I was involved with all of those things. So,
Yeah, I went back to, I used to, when I first started using cell phones when I was in radio, we were using bag phones.
mhm.
And yeah, those things actually had an external antenna that was magnetic, that the only way that I could get a signal out of a gymnasium with this thing was to attach it to some type of metal frame to get that out. And I had one of those Nokias, the kind that you can run over with a truck and everything is going to be fine. It's going to keep working. Uh, and I had a StarTAC. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
those. Yep.
That early Frazier, if you remember those, he had a StarTAC phone. Yeah. Why am I talking about old cell phones? I don't have any idea. And you're telling me I need to get rid of them and actually
Yes.
properly dispose of these things.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, yeah,
It's
you're right.
it's more of a safety hazard, especially with the new phones.
Yeah.
It's easy to throw a phone in a drawer, but the early ones, like your Motorola and StarTAC and that kind of deal, those had NiCad batteries in them. Those generally are pretty shelf stable, stay there forever, won't matter. The new stuff has a lot of lithium in it, and lithium has a tendency to get angry after a few years and can start fires. So, highly recommend you get that stuff out of your house if you're not using it anymore. Get it recycled. Because, when they talk about like electric cars that catch fire, that kind of deal, laptops in the airplanes that were catching fire. That's all lithium. And almost all of our battery tech nowadays is lithium based. So we got to be careful with those kind of toys and make sure we get them out of our house so, we don't come home to find our house smoking or a smoking ruin, basically.
That's a
Ooh,
bad
this
thing.
is scary for money talk. Jeez.
Well, you're creating some type of segue there that I haven't figured out how to tie together. So why don't we just, jump into the pool instead of dipping our toe in it? And year-end budgeting, year-end working on where funds are going to be allocated, all of that stuff. I'm guessing you guys are heavily involved in that right now.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of our customers run on the fiscal calendar, and which is like a government fiscal calendar. So their fiscal year starts in usually July or August. So we're kind of past that, and we're just getting ready for that next fiscal year for government and education. But a lot of businesses, the first of the year is their fiscal year. So we're kind of coming to the wire at this point of trying to figure out fiscally where you're going to put your money and how much are you going to invest in IT for the next year. Because, I mean, really small businesses, we just kind of pay for things as you go. But once you get up into that larger, dealing with lots of dollars type companies, you really need to budget that out. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself, spending yourself into a deficit for the year. So what Jessa and I do a lot of times is what's called our TAM role or technology alignment manager role. And we'll go in with a customer and say, okay, look, here's what we're looking at for next year. So we kind of have a ballpark of what to set aside for your IT needs. And this is something that every MSP should be doing with their clients right now. If they aren't, start having that conversation with your MSP. If your MSP is wanting to have that conversation, come talk to Jess and I, and we'll help you through it. But what you need to do is kind of look around and say, hey, how old is this stuff? How long is the lifespan on this stuff? And is it still viable? Should we still have it sitting here? This is where a lot of times that recycling kicks in. There you go, segue back. Um, but your recycling and that kind of deal kicks in because I can't tell you how many times I've gone in and it's like, oh, here's our old technology room, and you go in and they have it stacked floor to ceiling with old digital junk. Um, in the past, wasn't such a problem. Now with the lithium and other more dangerous chemicals in our electronics, we need to get that stuff out of the building when it's time for it to go. So we spend a lot of time cleaning that stuff out. We go, okay, well, you got a laptop that's 5 years old. Lifespan on a laptop is usually 3 to 5 years, depending on what it is. We need to look at replacing it, and not just because it's old, but we don't want the batteries to swell and become a problem. We don't want the problems. So instead of, oh my God, trying to have to fix it, if we put a little thought process into it, we can keep business continuity going. So instead of being down for a couple days to a week sometimes, now we can be looking at downtime for a very, very short time. Maybe an afternoon, maybe a weekend, to get everything moved over to your new equipment. The other thing that's happening, which we're all feeling major pains of right now, is the tariff situation. There's a lot of IT that is just not coming into this country right now, and we have finally hit the threshold of you can't find it anymore. It just doesn't exist right now. And until things stabilize politically with other countries, we don't know when we're going to be seeing it again. So prices are going up. So we got to work that into the budget now. Your IT, honestly, is going to cost you I would say anywhere from another 20 to 150% more than it did this year. And that's just the hardware costs. Okay. Labor costs, all that are going up a little bit because hardware drives labor. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to look hard at figuring out where we're going to come up with that cash or what we can live without in these next upcoming couple of years.
You were talking there, Jason, about some of the equipment that, I have that is getting older every single day. And it got me thinking that some of the equipment, not all of it, but some of the equipment I have, I bought refurbished as
Mhm.
opposed to brand new. Does that shrink that time frame down on that lifespan that
Yes.
you're talking about?
Well, oh, okay, I take that back. It shouldn't have been an instant yes. It depends on if it is repurposed or refurbished. There's two different things there.
Okay.
Repurposed basically means like you bought a laptop and they'll say it's refurbished, but it's just been basically the hard drive's been wiped and handed to you. Okay. So they kind of reset it back to factory and gave it to you. That's kind of a repurposed device. A actual refurbished device would have replaced any batteries, any disposable items in the laptop would have gotten replaced as well. So a lot of times we see a lot of stuff labeled as refurbished that's actually been repurposed. And if you bought a refurbished unit, it should be just about as good as the original unit. You may only knock a year off its lifespan. If you bought a repurposed one, you're just continuing on the lifespan that the previous person had. So if you got a laptop that you bought repurposed, um, realistically, if that laptop's 3 years old, it's either done and should be recycled the day you bought it, or maybe you'll squeeze another year or two out of it, and that's it.
Is there any way to know after the fact whether or not I purchased something that was actually repurposed when I thought it was refurbished?
Ask them if the batteries got replaced. That's usually the fastest thing. Repurposers very rarely, if ever, replace the batteries. Okay. Their whole thing is, how do I make a quick buck? Is what a repurposer does. Think of it kind of like flipping houses. You pretty it up a little bit, you clean it up, you clean out the inside and outside, and then you sell it for as much as you can, as quick as you can. Where a refurbisher will generally actually offer you a warranty with the refurbished unit that should be at least a year to 3 years if you're getting a true refurbished unit.
And that would apply to hardware besides just computers, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's the same kind of thing. I mean, a lot of times refurbished stuff, especially nowadays, it didn't used to be quite this way in the past, but nowadays I'm noticing more and more refurbished means we put it back in the box and we hope it does better this time. So we got to be careful of that kind of stuff. And when we're talking commodity items, honestly, if it's $20, $30 difference between a refurbished item and a new item, for the love of Pete, spend the money, go with the new one. At least then you have the warranty, you have the backing of the manufacturer, and the device is almost guaranteed to be good. Where you may not find out about the reason why the previous owner gave it up for another 2-3 months, and by then a lot of repurposers, they only give you a 30-day warranty. So there you go. Word to the wise.
Well, and all of this is also dependent upon what kind of device you're getting, what manufacturer, what level, whether it's consumer grade, commercial grade. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Like with HP, I would assume with Lenovo as well, because they're very stringent upon that stuff. If they're going to refurbish something or recertify it, they have certain standards that they have to meet in order for it to go back out the door. So if you're going to get something that's new to you versus brand new, just do your due diligence and, check out what it is, what it's supposed to be, and where you're getting it from.
Mm.
As you are helping companies go through and figure out what their budget is and what their needs are for IT moving into the next calendar year or fiscal year, whatever it may be, how often is it happening that somebody's saying that they want just the absolute latest and greatest? Because for me, I prefer to wait a little bit, because in my mind, the brand new stuff hasn't been tested long enough and get all the bugs worked out yet. And that, listen, I'm not in your industry, so I can't really say for certain, but that's just where I'm at. So is that a case where somebody wants just the absolute latest tech that's come out?
Yes. And it's generally something we don't recommend. We're a lot along the lines of you, Todd. I'd rather have it work every day and not have to worry about it than deal with basically beta testing something somebody's pushing out. The biggest market you see that is all about latest and greatest is going to be your cell phone market and those kind of technologies. Your tablets, what we call the consumer grade devices. Okay. Consumer grade is almost always give me the latest and greatest, got to have this, got to have cutting edge that. I know it hasn't been tested, but it's bound to be great because it's brand new, right? Um, that being said, there's the pain of having new technology. There's random updates you're going to have to deal with that you don't have to deal with older devices. Does that mean everybody should go out and buy a 5-year-old device? No. But with your cell phones and stuff like that, the iPhone 17 just dropped, and people are scrambling to get these iPhone 17s and that kind of deal. Um, I don't think that's a good idea. I would probably be like Todd and say, you know what, with the consumer market, wait 3 months. By then, they'll have them in stock. They'll be easy to get. The major updates will be out already, so you won't have the oh my gosh, this isn't working type scenarios. Um, wait a little bit. Um, your latest and greatest video cards have had problems. Some of the NVIDIA and ATI cards and that kind of deal, when they come out and they're cutting edge, bleeding edge, they're awesome. Well, unfortunately, when we made this card, we got into a rush. We didn't do this, and here's a software fix for that. Now it's not as fast as it used to be, you know? So what was the fastest card out there when it was latest and greatest? Suddenly it's going to be one of the slower cards, 4 months down the road.
Waiting
So,
3 months. Yeah, I've waited 3 years. This is an iPhone 14.
well, we know you're old, Todd. Um,
It has more to do with just being lazy. They've been telling me, "Oh, you qualify for an upgrade. Come get it."
yeah, I don't, well,
This is
we're
working.
people like that, so I'm not going to say anything.
Sometimes upgrading to the latest and greatest is not necessarily worth it, depending on how you use it, what you use it for. It may not be worth it.
For
It
me,
just
it slows me
depends.
down because I don't have the muscle memory on the old one, on the new one.
Right.
Where on this one, yeah, it may not have everything that the 17 can do, but I know where all the buttons are. I don't have to think about it when I go to use it. I shoot video on this thing, and I record podcast episodes on this thing. I know how to do it. I know right where to go. I know how to get them from my phone to my computer efficiently. I know all of that. If I get the latest, now I'm starting over and I got a
Well,
learning curve again.
here's the
Exactly.
problem. That learning curve becomes a bigger and bigger step with every model that you don't join. Uh,
So can I go get a 15? Is that
I think yeah, you might be able to get a 15 or a 16 still. I know you can get a 16. But the problem is, with that exponential scale of things shifting, realistically, here in the cell phone world, realistically, you need to be upgrading every, 2-3 years just to keep that step from getting too drastic. Because otherwise, you feel like you're starting from scratch with your new phone. Where if you keep that about 2-3 version behind type scenario, you're never more than 2-3 versions behind. That step's a little bit easier to make, and you don't quite have that technology hurdle every single time you want to upgrade your device. We had the same problem with Windows on PCs. Had the same problem with the Apple OS on PCs. People would hold on to their machine for 8 years, and then when they had to move into the new operating system, it was so foreign. It was like starting over. You know,
so you're telling me they've updated it since Vista?
oddly enough, yeah. Who knew, right? Yeah.
My head hurts. Well, and I would assume that much like with computers and, upgrading the operating system and the hardware components, with a cell phone and keeping up with the apps that are developed for it, it would be a matter of also compatibility and supported, you know, is an app going to support a much older phone and its hardware requirements and whatnot? So You know, you don't necessarily have to be right on that cutting edge, but, you know, we like to be a little ways back just because there's a lot of testing that has to be done, and we dog food almost everything that we do. So we make sure that everything's all happy, stable, just copacetic and working properly before we really implement it.
And by dog fooding, she means we try everything that we sell.
Sorry. Sorry, it's a term we use, and I just didn't think about it.
I was about to ask. Yeah, it's it's one of those technology things that all the IT people know. And I learned something a long time ago that's now everybody, I think, knows it, that if something is not operating correctly or is not operating at all, it's a brick. And that was, I've heard that. The first time that I heard it, I thought it was the funniest thing that I'd ever heard. Because that was the next generation past paperweight. It used to just be, then it's a paperweight. Now it's a brick.
Yep. And we still have the comment, and this is an old one, of letting the magic blue smoke out of the chips. So if you fry something and you let the magic blue smoke out, it doesn't work anymore.
I've done that. I was like, what is that smell? And yeah, it was a computer inside of a production room at a radio station that there was actual smoke coming out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. You let the little.
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what the why was behind that, but that was great. So obviously, if people have more information or they would love to sit down and talk to you, how do they do that? Where's the best source to go?
You can go to our website at www.thinkspaceit.com and either send us a message through there. You can give us a call at 844-576-2555 and talk to virtually any one of us here in the office. If you want to talk to Jason specifically, you can do that. If you want to talk to me specifically, that's fine too. We're all very knowledgeable though, and we all work as a team, so we're all here. Otherwise, if you're in the area, come by and see us. We like visitors.
No,
Walnut's not a big town. You'll find us. Yeah.
You'll find us.
It's my hope to get over that direction on Small Business Saturday. I'm hoping to spend some time in Walnut on that day. So, yeah, that if you guys are around, I'll come knock on the door.
Okay.
Jessa Erickson, Jason Erickson. Yeah. Yeah. I'll leave a little paper cup full of candy like Mayday out in front of your door.
There you go.
Jessa Erickson and Jason Erickson, ThinkSpace IT, thank you so much for your time. Grateful as always, and looking forward to visiting again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Once again, that website, thinkspaceit.com. I think you'll enjoy working with Jessa and Jason. These are fantastic people that actually make tech fun. Typically, I'd be very bored by it, but no, not when I talk to them. They understand it, and they have a way of relating it that makes it so even those of us without a really strong understanding can understand what's happening. Navigating the healthcare system is also challenging. It's frustrating, and it's time-consuming for you and your family. That's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates providing one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you will get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com or call 402-250-8465. Let them take the stress out of healthcare. And when it comes time for lunch today, here's your spot, the Mile Away. It's on Old Lincoln Highway north of Council Bluffs. This family-run bar and grill is your go-to for mouth-watering wings, unbeatable weekly specials, and a welcoming atmosphere that feels like home. True story, I was just out there for lunch yesterday. I had the chicken strips and fries for lunch, and it was one of their lunch specials. It was a great deal and a great meal. I couldn't finish it. There was too much there. And that's typically what's going to happen when you eat at the Mile Away. So, again, located on Old Lincoln Highway. Just drive north of Council Bluffs. You'll find it there. And be sure to follow them on Facebook for the latest events and specials. It's the Mile Away where great food and great people come together. Thanks again, Jessa Erickson and Jason Erickson from ThinkSpace IT for all the wonderful information. I love talking with those guys every month, and we'll be bringing you another conversation with them very, very soon. My name's Todd Studer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.